Hello everyone and welcome to another video of Endless Space 2. I am Melodic Oak, and we are going to be doing another video in our sort of pseudo-tutorial series of Endless Space 2. I say pseudo-tutorial, this is pretty much full-on tutorial now, which is totally fine. It just means that it's been moving pretty slowly. Episode 3 and we're on turn 20. But don't worry, things are going to be speeding up here because I have less and less to kind of talk about in terms of explaining things in depth. So yeah, things are going to get moving. Don't worry. We're gonna keep the ball rolling, and as you can see, you can see what time it is that I'm recording, so you know that I've been recording all these in bulk. It kind of just been going on because I've been having a lot of fun, and I kind of don't want to stop. So I'm gonna keep this going as long as I can today, as long as I feel comfortable, and before I get hungry and have to put something in my stomach, which I really haven't done today. So shame on me. You really should eat. You know, be healthy. But let's go ahead and get going. Oh, and right off the bat, we are in an election. This screen shows us the different political parties in the game. There are 6 in total. And as you can see, the percentage shows, you know, what people are kind of looking for based on our current actions, right? The actions we've taken as an empire. And we've been very scientific. Backing science will be very easy because, you know, they obviously are going to win. We can also select another political party to, like, generally back. And then last but not least, our empire type, which is a federation, allows us to spend influence to intimidate or reinforce intimidation to affect the influence, or to influence the election. We don't have the influence to spend on that, and we probably wouldn't spend it even if we had it. This early on, we really don't care. We want to keep scientists and we want to bolster their strength because that political party will kind of level up, and the laws available, there'll become more and more laws available, and we want that. So we're going to go ahead and back scientists officially. And all right, so pacifists are now functional. That's interesting. So that's going to give us a couple of new laws. Scientists are now established, so we have a new law, possible Star Boogie Bill, and we also have Trusted Broker available from pacifists. That's interesting. We'll go ahead and go into the law screen and look at that here. Let me go ahead and do that. We don't have these law slots, so we can't do any of these laws. We can't pass any of these laws unless we take this one away. We don't want to, but we can take a look at them. Star Boogie Bill is a good one. That's extra movement on all of our ships, and Trusted Broker makes it cheaper to do diplomatic stuff with other empires. The longer you have it passed, but we don't need those right now. That's fine. Oh, he shows demanding dust from us. Really, that's interesting. So they're threatening us. They're saying if you don't give us dust, we're gonna be mad, and if they're mad, they might take military action against us. Now they want 260 dust is what they're demanding. We have 448 and we're making 72 per turn. That's not that bad. Normally I don't cave on stuff, but I think we might just go ahead and give them the dust, right? See, they're happy now. So fortunately, when you actually do those sorts of things, it will actually affect them. See, now they're happy towards us. We received your tribute, is the reasoning. And that means their chances of going all military on us is in the next like 10 or 20 turns is really low. That's great. We don't have to worry about them for a little bit longer. And given how much they've been advancing, that's potentially pretty important. Oh, so take a look at this. Now we are getting Hyperion. So we're getting 3 and 3 every single turn. That's wonderful. Argosy is going to be able to fly in another turn. We're immediately going to be taking them down here. We're probably going to be getting the Gatrio system just because it's a pretty good system, honestly, all things considered, even though it's only a 3-planet system. And we also colonized that other Savannah planet here, the unique one. We're going to move you back over here for now. Wait, does that affect? Will affect it, but not that much. Okay, we'll keep one over here. That's fine. For all the extra science and dust and stuff. See, watch my science and dust here. Look at how much more we're going to be getting with this planet. It's incredible. Why are we keeping people over here? Just so I can get these finished in 3 turns. that's the min-maxing coming out. In addition, we're going to go ahead and get some more stuff queued up. What do we want next? Definitely magnetic field generators. That's going to get us science for population we have on planets with anomalies. Seeing as we now have a planet with an anomaly that we can take advantage of, that's going to be pretty useful. So we're going to go and get that queued up. Over here on Westholm, we're still colonizing this other planet. That is perfectly fine. Drone networks did finish over there, which means more food and industry, which is fantastic. Go ahead and keep our ships a-flying. So here we are in Placidus. We don't really want to pop any of this because that will be helping you. So we're just going to continue flying. We're going to continue going over this way and exploring more and more of the galaxy. Oh, we discovered a unique planet, Kairos, which was hit by this gray goo nanoplague a long time ago. Sounds bad, but it's actually a pretty good, unique planet. It gets you a lot of extra science. 28 science per pop. And of course, one of the AI players is going to be getting it. Isn't this just wonderful? Let me tell you, I haven't had a game like this in a long time where some of the AI empires have gotten such a strong start. So this we're in for a challenge. You know, we're gonna see how this goes. I'm a little bit worried. But I mean, hey, it's gonna allow me to showcase some fun strategic gameplay and how to handle stuff. How to handle this when this happens, when you get a slow start. Oh, we got a battle. We got our first battle over here on Gatria. A pirate fleet of one ship has flown over and is attacking our one ship fleet here, a positron. This is the screen that'll pop up when that happens. Oh no. However, not so oh no. Look at this bar. See how our bar is bigger than their bar? Haha! Size doesn't always matter. It's not always a good indicator of whether or not you're going to win, but it's a pretty good indicator of who has the upper hand. You can click on Advanced here. This will bring up this screen. You'll get a lot more detailed information on the battle. Click on these, and you can see the ships taking part. This is actually a great first battle to show this because it's 1 versus 1. It's very simple. There's not a whole lot to take in. We can talk about this a little bit more. There's three different lanes, if you will, that battle will take part in. Ships from one lane very much can attack ships in any other lane. That's not really, that doesn't really affect it so much. But these lines will show you how the ships are going to travel during the real-time combat that's about to take place. You're not going to have any control once the battle starts. All of your control over what happens in a battle happens on this screen, and then when you click on fight, stuff happens and you have no control over it. I really love the system. It's amazing. It's awesome. There's a lot of strategy here, and it's very cinematic once the battle starts. It's fully 3D rendered and stuff is actually happening. It's really cool. So, if we hover over our ship, we can see that our ship has an overall range accuracy and also has some projectile energy balance information. What is this? This tells us how good the ship is in combat, both offensively and defensively, when it comes to physical and energy type weapons. Our ship is completely weighted over into energy. It's good at using energy weapons. It's good against energy weapons. Pardon me. Our enemy really isn't that good defensively either way, and is more projectile based in its attacks, which is bad news for us when it comes to defensively. However, we can go ahead and take a look here. You can see that the enemy ship is weighted at being much more accurate at longer ranges. At short ranges, this ship is very inaccurate. Our ship is actually a lot more accurate at any range, but medium range is where it's sweet spot for its weapons accuracy, which is pretty common for energy weapons. Projectile weapons tend to be really good at short or long ranges, bullets or missiles, so to speak, right? And energy weapons tend to be good at medium range. They need time to reach their full strength, but also they peter out at longer ranges. There are exceptions to these rules, of course, but in general, that's what you're looking at. Shields are better. Shields are better at deflecting certain things, and armor are better at deflecting certain things. Different things have different amounts of piercing. There's a whole slew of mathematical bonuses and penalties to all this stuff that really isn't important right now. What's important is these numbers you're looking at, which really tell us we probably want to engage at short range, because they're going to have a very low chance of hitting us. So what we're going to do is we're going to look here. These are our tactics, right? At this point in the game, we have 3 tactics we can pick from when combat starts. They're always going to be the same, but we can switch them out. We can switch them out outside of combat. We'll go into that. But we have Turtle, Power to Shields, and Take Trophies. They have different lanes, and this shows us where ships in the fleet in that lane are going to be in terms of their range, right? Medium range, short range, long range. Only the middle lane matters right now because we don't have a lot of command points, which allows us to have more and more ships in a fleet. And once we hit certain amounts, so you can see unlocked at 5 command points and 2 ships, unlocked at 10 command points and 3 ships, we'll be able to spread ships out into different lanes. But right now, the middle lane on the card is all that matters. We have a choice of literally any range. We could take trophies, do it medium range, right? Or we could go to turtle, which is going to help us because, well, quite honestly, our enemy engages at longer ranges, and it's going to be very inaccurate if we're that close to them. 25% accuracy, and at close range, we'll have 77% accuracy, which is fantastic. Now, granted, even though we've picked this, and it says short range, that means our ships are going to move to engage at short range. The battle's not going to start at short range, so they are going to have some time to wail on us a little more efficiently, and as we get closer, we'll get more efficient, and they'll get less efficient. But we're going to go ahead and pick that. We can, later on in the game, especially with small battles like this, like normally, I wouldn't have this on. I wouldn't watch the battle. I would just let it automatically resolve. Because, you know, I'll tick watch when it's cool big battles or when there's something really big at stake just because it's fun. But we're going to tick watch just because I want you to see what combat looks like. It's really cool. By the way, you can also click down here to get other information. See, you can see a rough gauge of which fleet is better at what ranges, right? My apologies, I'm allergic to short range apparently. Who has more projectile and energy strength? Oh, sorry, rehydrate. And just in general, which fleet is stronger. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get this fight started. Alright, and this is the battle. Battle at Gatria versus pirates. There's the pirate ship. So, by default, you'll automatically be on this view, which will just kind of randomly change camera angles and stuff, and it's pretty cinematic and awesome. You can click on the skip to action button to just skip right to the action if you don't want to see this, but, you know, the action has started now. See, there's us shooting at the enemy. Boom. We're going to get a couple hits in. Now, you can get some more detailed information while you're watching this. If you press spacebar, you'll get this overlay, which is going to show you information about remaining health, manpower on the ships, how quickly they're moving, how evasive they currently are, all of that. Press it again to toggle it off. And you can also go over here to overview camera, which will give you a nice, tactical layout of where the ships are moving and all of that. Or you can go to free camera. If you go to free camera, you can control it just like a first person. Normally, why isn't this working? There we go. Where you can actually move it around and see all this information. Now, it looks like we might actually lose this fight. Yeah, they've gotten some really good hits in early on with those missiles. So it looks like we might lose this fight. Which, granted, we got this ship for free, so it is not the end of the world. But, see, oh, we're getting closer now, so that missile missed. I don't know if you saw that, but it did. Oh, you see, they're starting to miss because we're getting so much closer to them. And we're getting more effective as we get closer, and they're getting less effective. Oh, they did manage to hit there. So this is going to be a close battle either way. So you can click on a ship to kind of focus them. See, like this, and then rotate. Oh, normally. Oh, looks like we died. Ah, we just barely lost that battle. Boom. Grave defeat. Unfortunate. We did manage. We did lose. We damaged them greatly, but we lost our ship. Sort of to be expected. You know, that was our free ship. It really wasn't that good to begin with, and really we didn't have any holdings here, so I'm not too concerned. Oh, we're now sovereign over the Pilgrims. So yeah, like I was saying, it's unfortunate, but it is not the end of the world. Don't cry over spilt milk, and don't cry over losing free ships that, again, we got completely for free. We're about to send what is actually, in my opinion, a much better ship over there to handle the rest of the situation. So here is so the Pilgrims. We have now gotten over 50% relations, which means that we are now sovereign. Once you get over 50% relations, if you have at least 50% of this bar filled and you have the highest relations with this minor civilization than any other major civilization, any other major like empire, you will count as being the sovereign, which makes them, it gives you a lot more stuff basically. And it also allows us to start the assist quest with them, which is going to be a really big deal. It's going to help us because we're going to be able to assimilate their faction into our own, and essentially gain a whole new star system, not for free, but for minimal extra effort or resources. So yeah, we want to do that. Their system is okay. It's not amazing. It's pretty good science, I guess. Same with their system. It's okay. But honestly, at this point, we just need more systems. We need to combat this crazy growth over here before they start to take stuff, which I really don't want. Actually, before we forget, we're going to go ahead and praise them again so we can go ahead and get that ball rolling a bit faster as well. Also, I am going to excuse myself for just a moment, so I will be right back. Alright, my deepest apologies, I am back. Had a couple of things I had to take care of, and as you might imagine, that much coffee and water after, you know, yeah, bathroom break. So, we're back into endless space now. So, where were we? Right, we were talking about that, we were talking about this. We gain more Volters on New Home, which is perfectly fine and dandy. Oh, and we're also able to build this now. That's a wonder. So most people that have played 4X strategy games know what a wonder is. Well, this is no different. You can build wonders in Endless Space 2, and only one empire can build each wonder. And once it's built, no one else can get it. Obviously, most wonders are best built as early as possible. Like, for example, this one gets you a bunch of extra science on that system and reduces the technology cost on all technologies for the rest of the game. So this can be very useful no matter what victory type you're going for, but particularly if you're going for a science victory. Or, well, yeah, so it can be pretty good. And then there's this one, which is going to get you extra dust and science based on how much your people like you. So those are both pretty damn good things to go for. We might go for one of them. It depends on what we end up choosing to do, and depends on if we're able to catch up with the other empires here quick enough. So, and there's one other thing I want to talk about, the Volters. This is helpful to know whether or not you're playing as the Volters or facing them as a foe. And this thing is, another unique feature to them, portals. They can build portals. It's a system improvement. It gets them plus 10 science. That's kind of nice, kind of dandy. They're expensive to upkeep, and they cost titanium and hyperium to put up. What do they do? If two systems have a portal, you can move ships between them in one turn. No matter what. I could have a system up here, and I could have a system down here. And I could move a whole fleet from there to here in one turn. This is one of the things that makes Volters so hard to take systems from militarily. If they have a portal network up and any kind of standing military, they can have a full powered fleet on any of their systems at a moment's notice. And it makes them very dangerous. And it also gives them a big advantage in that they don't have to sort of expand like in a cluster. They can really go out there as far as they kind of feel like they need to. That's a big deal. And you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be taking advantage of that if I can. So, kind of depending on how all this goes. I'm not going to lie. This game has been interesting so far. Like, really interesting. In that, I'm not sure how this is going to go. This is going to be a tough uphill battle, but it gives me a chance to showcase even more, I guess. So, all right, our tech is done. More Volters on Westholm, that's good. Finished public-private partnerships in New Home. More science, which is wonderful. We're going to start. We're going to study these two new curiosities that we can now see. Get our magnetic field generators up and running. We're also going to see. Yeah, I think we're going to move everyone over to here because that's going to do a lot for our dust and science. And it's not a whole lot less industry. It's one less industry per pop. So yeah, we're going to have everyone over here because it's also great for food, which is going to help with growth. Yeah, this is just an amazing planet. We're going to take full advantage of this. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, so this is what I was talking about earlier. So we got our first tech in the military quadrant, which has gotten us all of this. We now can have +2 command points on all of our fleets, our bigger manpower capacity. We now have new armor technology, new shield technology, new weapon technology. It's amazing, and that's why we wanted to grab that early on, because now that we're getting these military hulls, we're going to be able to outfit them much better than we would have been able to kind of vanilla, like at the start. We're also going to go ahead and get some other stuff queued up here. Some food tech, because we're going to need more food to grow faster. I don't think there's pirates there, but we don't know. Now, if you're wondering what I'm doing here with this ship, I'm kind of sending out probes. I'm trying to see if there's any systems over here. I don't think there's gonna be. Based on, yeah, we might start making our way back this way then. That's fine. That is a-okay. We're gonna go ahead and start the assist quest with the pilgrims. Alright, so the Hidden Cabal. Let's see. Pilgrims' leadership are adamant. A shadowy group are plotting to overthrow their government, and they want our help with it. We need to find these revolutionaries. If we can do this for them, if we can help them, they will trust us enough to join our empire. Our goal, have 3 or more active laws in our empire. We'll go ahead and get 80 influence and obtain the minor civilization as our rewards. So that's kind of a weird objective, isn't it? We need to have another law. Oh, that's right, we can't. So how do we do that? There's a number of ways that we can do that. One of them is we can change our government type over to a democracy, right? And that'll get us another law slot. That's expensive, though. We can't afford it influence-wise. It's going to take us a number of turns to get there. There's going to be 5 turns of downtime with no laws where it's anarchy. It's going to be tough. So rather than doing that, we could instead just get a technology that gives us another law slot. And that is... right, is that right here? Yes, that's right here. So if we get this reward by getting 2 techs from this kind of area right here, this circle, this ring, this tier of technology, etc., we will get that, an extra law slot. And we want that because we really want that civilization. So we're going to queue up this. Move it right there. So in 3 turns, we'll have both these techs. We'll unlock that, and we'll be able to get it. So that's really good for us. So let's go ahead and hit next turn. Oh, okay. Excellent. Okay, so one of those the subterranean curiosity was antimatter. Antimatter is a tier 2 strategic resource, right? Here's the tier 1s, titanium and hyperium. Then there's adamantium and antimatter, and then there's roguelikes and quadrenix. So antimatter's pretty damn useful. It's going to be a little bit until we can take advantage of it, but hey, we've revealed it, which is nice. Now we know it's here, which is wonderful for us. We also got a new battle tactic, which is another one of those cards we can use during combat. Let's actually look at those really quick. We can see all the ones we have right here. This is our whole selection right here and here. These are the ones we have chosen. We can swap them out. Our first change is free, and we will occasionally get extra free changes as the game goes on. But normally it's going to cost us influence to swap out our tactics. And if there's a pending battle, you can't change your tactics on this screen until you've finished up all of your pending battles on that turn. So what do we want? Well, it kind of depends on the strategy we're going to be going for. We don't really know yet. You're going to want a variety of tactics based on the situation and also based on the way you're building your ships. At this point, I'm actually still happy with the ones we have. We don't really need to change them yet, so I might just keep them as they are. Especially since we have this new tech here. We'll leave it for now. Oh, we also colonized the Terran planet on Westholm, so now we have this planet available. We are going to move our population over to here. Much better for our Fidzi right now and for our growth. So that's going to be good for us. Oh, and occasionally you'll get random events in the marketplace. We don't have access to the marketplace yet, but eventually we will, and I'll be able to show you what you can do there. When you do have access to it, you'll be able to click on this button right here. The tech you need to unlock it is right over here, the G Goods Exchange. We'll be getting that before too terribly long. Of course, we need to remember that we have priorities. So that's kind of what we're trying to focus on. We're also trying to find some other stuff to explore. It's why we're building another scout ship up here to send down this way. In actuality, we can make our scout ships a little bit faster. So we remember when we unlocked the Hyperion engine here a little while ago? So this has an extra movement point and also gives our ship some evasion. We're not doing it so much for the evasion, but those extra movement points are valuable. Now, what's the downside to using these? Well, first of all, they cost a little more industry to build. So they're going to add to the overall construction cost of your ship. But they're also going to cost Hyperion. Strategic resources. Normally this would be a problem. We don't have a lot of scout ships though. So we're actually going to do this. It's going to cost us an extra 2 Hyperion per scout ship. I am not bothered by that. So we're going to go ahead and confirm that. And what's this? It hasn't updated. Our current scout ship that we're building that we already have a tiny bit of progress on isn't going to be taking those changes into account. This is okay. If I had any more queued up that we hadn't gotten any progress on yet, I would go ahead and cancel them and then re-queue them up here. But we can just upgrade it once it's done being built with a very small cost of dust. So I'm not concerned, and you shouldn't be either. In fact, we're just going to continue ending our turns here, keeping the game moving. We have unlocked our military halls. Perfect. We're also now the sovereign of the... Oh, yep, we're going to go ahead and take their quest as well. They have a plague. Patient 0. People are getting sick in their empire. Fast. We need to help them. A swift building program to house, employ, and care for the Yusho refugees will be greatly appreciated and could be useful for the future in any case. Build 6 or more buildings in your empire within the next 15 turns. We'll net some dust and get them as a minor civilization. Okay, so what are buildings? Pretty much a lot of the stuff we've been building. System improvements are usually considered buildings. So just building stuff in our empire is going to be getting progress towards that. So really, at the point we're at right now, we don't really need to change too much of what we're doing. We just need to make sure that we're picking cheaper stuff and getting it done in the next 15 turns. We're going to continue sending some probes out as we make our way back here with our scout ship. Remember that pincer that beat us last time? Well, here we are with a fully powered ship that's much stronger. Let's go ahead and smoke this this pirate. So remember how they're really bad at short range? Well, guess what? Our new ship is, well, still not great at short range in comparison to medium range, but we're still going to smoke it at short range, so we're going to have Turtle on, and you're going to see how this battle is going to go a little differently. Skip to the action here. And there's our brand new scavenge ship. So not really brand new, but, you know, taking on the enemy pirate ship. It has a mix of energy and projectile weapons, which means that it's going to be doing pretty well at medium and short range. So as it closes in, it's going to be doing more and more damage to the ship. Yeah. Oh, did you see that? Okay, so that's something important I should mention. You saw that that missile didn't miss. That missile got shot down. So projectile weapons, like the rapid-fire projectile weapons I have, are actually capable of providing a flak screen. When there's incoming missiles, the ship will temporarily stop shooting. Oh, we beat it. Nice. Stop shooting at enemies and start shooting at missiles. And they can actually shoot them down before they get to them. Now, different weapons will have different, like, you know, accuracy and tracking ratings, which means they'll be able to more effectively shoot down incoming missiles, which is nice, which makes them pretty useful. That's the early game tactic we're going to be going with, is overwhelming strength in numbers and close range. Just swamp them and destroy them. So that's beneficial for a number of reasons. So we're going to move our Argosy over to Gatria here. And we cannot colonize yet because we're a little low on dust. That is perfectly fine. We're just going to guard here with our Prowler until our Argosy can. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. All right, next turn. We're well on our way. On the way. All right, fairing is done. So as you can see, whenever you build a new ship, they're going to start out in storage, right? They're not actually in a fleet yet. So you can go ahead and pick them and create a new fleet. Now they're flying around in space. Also, we're going to click on this to bring the design up to date like we talked about. And then we're going to start flying around and doing stuff. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit up our own system, Westholm, over here. And we're going to explore that curiosity we see blinking there. Because I want to know what it is. And it's on a planet we have, so it could be quite useful for... Oh, there's actually two. Improved plasma beam. Ooh, we'll talk about that. You can find weapon tech in curiosities, which can be pretty useful. And adamantium. Oh, abundant deposit. We have antimatter and adamantium available. Man, strategic resource-wise, we're hitting the jackpots here. This is going to be good for us later on in the game. Very, very good for us. We have no more movement points, so we're just going to send out some probes. So we got a new weapon type. Oh, right. So this is actually perfect timing. We also got our new hulls, remember? So let's go ahead and design our military hulls. See, these are the two defaults they give you for each hull. I just delete the defaults as they come in and make my own. I just prefer having complete control over what we're making. So these are your different ship hull types. Aero class is your attacker that we just researched. It's going to look exactly the same as your scout. The bulk class is our support ship. Not very useful right now, at least not yet. But we're going to go ahead and get this thing outfitted so we can start building them to defend our systems. Here's our new weapon type, improved plasma beam. Now, remember how I said we were going to go with overwhelming close range weapons? We just researched this really good weapon that normally we wouldn't have this early on, so we might be changing up that strategy. So how does this weapon work? Well, first of all, you can tell it's yellow, which means it's going to cost us some Hyperium to use it, which is unfortunate, but not the end of the world. And then we also have some other new technology. So how are we going to outfit this thing so it doesn't cost us all of our Hyperium stores just to build a few? Well, we can do sort of a mixed strategy ship is one of the ways that we can do it. So normally what I would do is I'd go ahead and slap on some basic ultra-dense slugs that's going to make us really powerful short range, but the ship isn't going to be that useful while it's approaching the enemy, right? Remember before? So what we're going to do is we're going to have one, right, for attacking when we do get close, and also as a nice little flak screen for missiles. You can actually see how good a weapon is against missiles. See down there under flak, damage versus missiles and versus squadrons. And then we're also going to take this improved plasma beam, which, as you can see, is accurate and efficient at every single range, which is wonderful. Now, it doesn't do as much damage. As you can see, it does about half as much damage as the basic ultra-dense slugs will when we're at optimal range. What it does do is it kills crew per hit, you can see, which is going to deplete the enemy's efficiency, their manpower on their ships, which is going to make them less effective. And then it also, when it hits for the next 10 seconds, the enemy's energy weapons are going to have a minus 20% chance to hit. Also, energy weapons have a critical hit chance, which just means that there's that percentage chance that they're going to deal extra damage. So just overall, that's a great thing to have. We're also going to go ahead and give you some Hyperium engines. We're just going to give you one. Something to keep in mind with Walter ships is we're not going to need them to be super mobile because we're going to have portals that are going to help get them around eventually. So don't worry about putting more than like one engine on any military ship if you're playing Bolters. It's really not going to be necessary. And then we're going to need something defensive for them, so we're going to go ahead and give them some armor. You might notice there's armor and shield, and the question is, which one should I give them? Well, there's really no right or wrong answer to this, because it's going to be really dependent on the weapon types your enemy is using. So there are pros and cons to energy and armor. Energy recharges, right? So if the damage our enemy deals only hits our shields for the whole battle, there's no repairs that we need to do to our ship after combat is done. The downside, shields are only really good at helping protect us against energy. Armor is better against protecting us against projectiles. So again, they both have uses. Since our ship here is going to be engaging at close range, there's a greater chance that we're going to be taking damage from projectiles rather than energy weapons. So we're going to go ahead and take the armor in this case. In addition to that, keep in mind that our improved plasma beam is going to be giving our opponent's energy weapons a penalty to hit. So again, there's yet another reason that going with armor is kind of a better choice here. We still have an empty support type slot. Now, keep in mind you don't need to fill up every single slot when you're building a ship, but personally, if you're building a military ship, I highly recommend using every slot you have. We don't really need more movement, but these two could be useful. What are these? Well, this one is O2G delivery gear. This is going to give us extra manpower, which is going to make our ship a little stronger in combat, right? A little bit better. A little more. It's going to give it a little more health as well, but it's going to take more manpower to refill this ship, like from our manpower stocks. We might not want that. We might want that. It's definitely going to make us stronger if we're invading enemy planets. But then we also have this other choice, which is nano repair bots. Gives us a very small bonus to ship health, and also means we're going to repair ship by 5% of its health after a battle. This is pretty useful if you have ships in a fleet that are probably going to be engaging in multiple combats back to back, and you're not going to have any downtime for maintenance. It's also just nice to have. So the question is, which one of these do we want? Well, the answer is we don't really need either of them, and they both have their uses. So for now, just for now, we're going to go ahead and take nano repair bots. Or are we? We might take this. Yeah, we're going to go and take nano repair bots. And we need to give our design a name. We're going to call it the Lineman. It's just a frontline ship that's going to be made for combat. It's going to be really useful to have. And we're going to start building them before too terribly long. As a matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and get big data shipyards queued up after magnetic field generators, and then get a couple of lineman ships. I'm going to say no more than a couple. We're going to get 3 lineman ships queued up here. You don't want to queue up too many ships all at a time. And the reason for this is your manpower. We have, actually, let me go into the military screen here. It's a little bit better. We have 749 manpower out of a maximum of 750. We're getting 56 a turn, but it's going to cost us manpower when we build ships. Optional cost 0 to 100 manpower. You can see there in the bottom left. Now that means we don't need manpower when we're making ships, but then we won't be able to fill up the ships with manpower, and it's going to make them way less effective. We want manpower if we're going to be making ships. As you do combat, both in space and on the ground, you're going to lose manpower, inevitably. And you're going to need to replenish it with your total stores of manpower. Now, I'm not too concerned about our manpower right now, so we can totally afford to queue up even more ships than this. But we're just going to queue up 3. Ooh, click there. We're going to queue up 3 in this system for now. And then over here, I'm hitting left and right on the arrow keys if you're wondering how I'm doing that. Over in Westholme, we're not going to queue up any because we're still building up kind of our initial stuff here. It really isn't worth it for us to be doing that. Building any military stuff here yet. Oh, actually, we're going to go and get that queued up as well. Because we can go ahead and, as soon as you colonize a planet, you can start getting the resources from it. We want the dark glitter. So, let's go ahead and get our ships moving here. You're over here now. Whoop, wrong button. Send out a probe here and continue flying this way. Now, there are pirates over here, so we may have to retreat with our scout ship. We'll see how things go. There might not be a fleet around there, though. So, oh, there's a pirate moving this way, but don't worry, we have a ship here to defend. Now, I don't know how well we're going to fare against this pincer, because it's at full health. I think we should be fine. Oh, there's an event coming. Hold on. You can right-click, by the way. That just minimizes, that does not close stuff, so you don't have to worry about it. If stuff is getting too chaotic, like I said, you can always uncheck this and it won't pop up. But you generally want important stuff to do that, so yeah. So what popped up here was an event, an unexpected guest, out of the blue. Literally, a new minor faction has abruptly moved onto one of your planets. Calgeros. On system Newholm. So we can go over to Newholm and see, what's this? We have new population, 2 of them, Calgeros. They're a pretty interesting race. They give us approval, and even just literally tons of approval if they're on a planet that is fertile. We have 1 fertile planet in this system. We're not really wanting for approval here. So normally what I would do is I'd grab them and move them over to here, right? But for our Fidzy, because this planet's so much better per pop, we're actually going to keep them over here for now. But don't worry, we'll move them over here once we need approval. They're good to have. They're good to have. Population right now, any population right now is good for us. For the most part. That's not necessarily 100% true, but we'll get to that. Oh, also, we finished this tech, which unlocked some improvements that help us with food, and also got us here. This is what we were after. Remember? More Empire Law slots? Well, now we have them. So let's go ahead and pass another law, even if we don't need one, just to finish that quest. By the way, different laws are going to have a different amount of upkeep per population, and you can see the total cost per turn that it's gonna take. We have 56 influence per turn that we're getting, like net income, so we can afford to get either of these. We're going to go ahead and get the Star Bookie Bill. That's going to help our ships move around the galaxy a whole lot faster. And boom! Turns out the Secret Cabal was probably nothing more than paranoia based off groundless rumors, but the outcome has been very beneficial to your empire. So bam, we now have, look at that, it's orange now. This system is ours, and we have this population, the Pilgrims. Isn't that freaking awesome? It's ours now. It's fantastic. You might notice, by the way, that they have an improvement here, or not an improvement, but a specialization that we don't have yet in our tech. Now, this doesn't mean that we have access to this now, unfortunately, but it does mean that as long as we don't replace this, we'll actually get to keep it here. It's not that good, but it looks like they need the food because they don't have a very high food production system. But that's okay. We're here now. What improvements do you have? Sustainable farms, infinite supermarkets. Okay, we'll go ahead and keep the improvements they have. By the way, if there's ever an improvement you don't want, you can click on it and scrap it. You'll get some dust back, and you won't have to continue to pay the upkeep cost as well. But we actually want that. We actually want those, so we're going to keep them. We are going to throw up a drone networks. I can't believe that they don't have them yet. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get this system kind of off the ground here because it's really not that great right now, but that is okay. So because we have some systems now, it's worth talking about specialization. So remember what I said before, is that you always kind of want to be specializing in something in endless space. The same goes for systems. Making this system into a food production system isn't going to be worth it. 0 food per pop, 6 food per pop, 0 food per pop. This is not a big system for food. So making this system into that is going to be just a bad design decision. We're going to be better off than, rather than growing our population in this system manually with food producing improvements, we're just going to want to keep the food just barely above 0 so that we're not starving, and ship population from other systems that are growing much faster over to this one, if we want to play efficiently. Rather, this is a great system for science. 12 science per pop, 6 science per pop, 16 science per pop. Plus, all these planets are cold. We'll be able to take advantage of exoscience stations and all sorts of amazing stuff. This is a fantastic system for science, so that is what we should be specializing this system towards. So besides just getting the initial stuff up and running, we're definitely going to want to get this system off the ground. Now, obviously, the downside to not building a lot of industrial stuff is it's going to take longer to get it off the ground. And in some cases, it's going to be worth building stuff like that to get it up and running. And then once you have your system where you want it, you don't need as much industry, you could go into here and scrap some of the industrial improvements you got and, get a net gain faster than you would have normally. In this particular case, I don't think that's going to be worth it for us. So we're going to do some other stuff instead. We're going to get a drone networks and a cerebral reality and then colonize this planet. That's going to take 16 turns to do, and it's going to be 18 turns until we get another pop. So we really don't have to worry about it too much. Okay, so we also got their ships that they had orbiting here, these knives. We're going to go ahead and put them in a defensive stance over here just to keep this system safe. And if you hover over either of the ships, you'll get the individual ship information. If you hover over this, you'll see what the fleet as a whole is capable of. Pardon me. So that's important. So they've been assimilated. We now control them, which is fantastic. Benthic gems. Oh, I guess we revealed them. We don't know where they are. Huh. Oh, right, so we got another little side quest. There's a diplomatic summit being held on Newholm. If we can keep all hostile ships out of there for 10 turns, we'll get 80 influence. Tiny reward, tiny quest. Not super important that we do it one way or the other, but it's there, it's happening, it's a thing.
Feel free to anger
Oh, they're back to threatening. They demanded stuff from us, they were happy for a while, and now they're back to being threatening. Probably because we're getting stronger. Take a look at our score. See how much higher we are? See how much closer we are to them points-wise? That's what I was talking about. Early game, you're generally going to be a lot lower, but you're going to catch up with the other AI pretty quick. Pretty quick. Volter growth on Westholm, even more. Excellent. See, our Prowler is here. The pirates haven't picked a fight with us here yet. I'm thinking we're not going to engage with them unless we have to. We're going to start moving our scout ships down that way. Argosy still can't afford to do an early colonization. That is fine. I'll send out more probes and continue to fly over this way. And end our turn. Awesome. More progress. New tech. Intensive cultivation and sustainable farms. More food tech for us to help with our growth. New event. Babies, not booms. More of a new population on one of our systems. Newholm now has a +1 Harashims population. Now, Harashims are interesting. They give you food if they're on a sterile planet. Unfortunately, our only sterile planet is one that we don't have yet, so we're not really getting full advantage of their racial benefits yet. Don't worry, we will. And if it ever happens that you get a population in a system, like for example, if I got Harashims here and I didn't have this sterile planet, if I had no sterile planets in the system, once we've enhanced the system level, and we have our spaceport, which is over here, this is where this is going to be filled in, we'll be able to send that population off to another system where we can actually like take full advantage of them. So don't worry. Don't worry. Be happy. Let's see. Right. So they're probably going to demand something from us again here soon. This time we might refuse because we're going to have a standing military here pretty soon. Let's get our ships a-moving. Our other scout here. Send off another probe. And get moving this way. I did not put down that pirate mark. Look at that. Ooh, I think the Lumeris bought one and put one down as well. That's great. So our empire and the Lumeris empire noticed that he was, like kind of on our space, right? And then also getting pretty strong pretty fast. I mean, look at who's talking. The Lumeris are getting pretty strong too. But, yeah. 1 has 6 buildings. Okay. Good. Yeah, we're well on our way to do that. Right, we need to queue up some more research. We are definitely going to get our system development going. So we need to queue up something from here. These all have good uses. There's nothing here. Nothing I could pick from here right now would be a bad choice. But we're going to go with galactic commodities. Actually, for 2 reasons. This is wonderful. This lines up in that, A, this is probably the best choice I can make right now from this tree, from this quadrant, and also a great opportunity, like a great learning opportunity. So we're going to go and pick this, and in 1 turn, I'll be able to show you why. Boom. So we now have access to a new system improvement and the marketplace. What is the marketplace? A bunch of things that are going to be happening this turn. I'm so excited. Delicious life-giving water. So, first things first, we've unlocked a new system improvement. Miners Union. 8 dust per turn, +1 resource generation on strategic resource deposits. So if I built this in Westholm, we'd be getting 3 titanium and 3 hyperium each turn instead of 2 and 2. And once we have this adamantium deposit and we have the technology to get it, instead of just getting 3, we'd get 4. That's how amazing that improvement is. It's great to build in systems that have a lot of strategic deposits like this one. Keep in mind, it does not affect luxury deposits, so the dark glitter would remain unaffected. But still, very much worth it. We're almost certainly going to build that. As a matter of fact, we might go ahead and get that going now. Let me check something. Sorry, just thinking. We're going to do it this way. And the reason I'm doing this, we might also change this up. Per coal plus 2 per luxury deposits. And we're going to wait on those. We're going to doing this because interplanetary transport network is going to give us extra industry per population, and even more if the population is on a planet with strategic deposits. This one has strategic deposits, so that would make it worth it to move back over there. Although, no, we're going to keep them here for now. No, we're going to take that off. I'm sorry. We're going to go for Miners Union next so we can get more titanium and Hyperium. Sorry. Blah. Strategizing. It's wonderful. Another 2 things happened. A, we now have access to the marketplace. That's right. There's like a big old stock market. Look at that. Look at this. Empires are actively trading and doing stuff in the game. You can buy and sell stuff. It's amazing. This is one of my favorite parts of the game. And later on, once we have another tech, we're going to actually be able to buy and sell ships and heroes. Isn't that awesome? Oh, I love it. It's so cool. Sorry, also stretching. Oh, that's what sitting in one place will do for you. Remember, people, to get up and stretch. Don't get blood clots in your legs. I've been getting up every once in a while in between recordings, so. Okay, so you can buy resources from the market. You can also sell resources, both luxury and strategic. You can see like kind of how the prices have fluctuated, if they've gone up or down. Like, ooh, blue cat mold is a good buy right now. Everything else, not so much. But we can also sell stuff that we don't need. Isn't that cool? So, for example, we're probably never going to use Transfine or Super Spuds, right? Because I don't see any other systems that we're really going to be taking. Well, maybe Transfine. Maybe. Probably not. But definitely not Super Spuds. I'm not seeing any Super Spuds anywhere. So what we can do is we have 20 of them sitting around, right? They sell for 41 a piece. Well, heck, I don't need them. So let's go ahead and sell all of them for 767 dust. Look at that. It's actually actively driven down the price of Super Spuds, and now there's more available on the market. What's the downside of doing this? Well, if there's any empires in the game that are currently using Super Spuds, right, for anything, they might see this on the market and go, oh, I'm going to snatch these up now. You've driven down the price and you've made more available. So it could be bad, it could be good. It just kind of depends. But it's something to keep in mind whenever you take any action. And also, people can see what you're doing. So, unless they haven't met you, in which case they'll just say unknown empire. So anyway, we don't really need to buy anything. We don't really need to sell anything else. But the reason I'm coming here is to look at this. So we have a bunch of dark glitter now. We have 96. We want to start using this for something, right? Well, this is where the system development comes in. We can now do level 2 modernization. We're going to need to lock in a component, though. So if we click on this, we'll be brought to the system development project screen. And we're going to be able to lock in a kind of resource to use whenever we want to upgrade a system from level 1 to level 2. Once you lock in this choice, you can never change it. So only lock in a resource that you are fairly certain you're going to have access to and continue getting a good amount of for the rest of the game. Now, normally you can only use luxury resources for this. But as vaulters, we can also use strategic resources. Everything has a different advantage and disadvantage. So if we hover over dark glitter, you'll see the advantage to using it is any system we upgrade to level 2, it's going to upgrade the manpower capacity by 200 in that system. It's going to give us plus 75 enrollment rate per turn in manpower on that system, and plus 10 manpower per turn on that system. It's just going to help us in terms of manpower completely. But it's going to cost us 20 dark glitter every time we do that to a system. Alternatively, we can use strategic resources. It's going to cost us that much and get us 40 industry, 40 food on a system, or 40 science, 40 dust. That's not per pop, by the way. That's just flat, which makes it really good for new systems and not as powerful as, for example, these would be, which do the same thing but per pop, as they would be later game. But obviously we haven't locked in, and we don't want to pick these because we don't have access to them at all yet. So, but for example, picking this would be a bad idea, right? Plus 60 food one system, oh, that's great, I want that. But we don't have access to Red Sang yet. We have some, but we're not getting any per turn. So that would be a terrible choice. Now, obviously, if, for example, the only resource you have that you can lock in, like say we had a ton of Transvine, right? Pretend we're getting 4 transfine a turn and we have 96 of it, right? Swap these. Pretend that's with transfine, right? Plus 15 approval on system. That's wonderful, but we don't need approval right now. We're keeping up on approval right now. It's just not something we're needing, and we're probably not going to be wanting for in the near future either. So it doesn't make a lot of sense that even if we had a lot of transfine, it's just not something we need right now. So it might be worth waiting to lock it in until you have another resource that that would be more useful to you in your current situation. Now, dark glitter is pretty useful to us. I mean, we have an abundance of it, and upgrading to level 2 modernization has its other benefits. So I think we're actually going to go ahead and use it. And that extra manpower is going to be really helpful later on when we get into inevitable conflict. So we're going to go ahead and confirm. As you can see, we can't change it because we've locked in. That's okay. But that's why I say be super careful about it. And something that might help, by the way, is in options, you can change how often... can you change how often? I'm pretty sure you can change how often. Maybe you can't. You can change how many autosaves you keep. I thought you could change how often it autosaves. Maybe I'm wrong. Huh. Well, anyway, in that case, I guess by default, it autosaves every single turn. So that's pretty helpful. I have another save going here and here. Don't worry about those. Yeah, anyway. So if you ever make a mistake like that, you can always load back. But if you do it to take advantage of the game, shame on you. No, you play how you want to. It's totally fine. But I tend to kind of Iron Man this stuff because it's fun. It's the way I enjoy playing the game, but it's not the way you have to play the game. Remember that. So, I now have access to these modernizations. Great thing about modernizations is that they're always going to take like a set number of turns, regardless of what your industry is. So it's almost always going to be worth popping that ahead. In this case, not so much. I'm going to let this finish, but we're going to go ahead and queue that up to finish next after that's done. For this system as well, we're going to go ahead and pop it in right there. If you can afford it, there's very little reason not to modernize your systems if you can. We can actually do the same to down here. We can afford to modernize all of our systems. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and queue them all up in secondary positions, though. Oh, there's a battle, and it doesn't look good for us. So we can click on show location to show us where it's happening. Ah, it's some pirates. Ironically, the pirates we paid to come and attack Ceres. That's kind of ironic, isn't it? Well, it's our own fault for flying here without thinking about that, and we definitely can't win this battle. We have no weapons on our fairing, remember? So we're going to have to click on retreat. Now, how does that work? When you retreat, your ships in your fleet will lose 60% of their health and will fall back down the nearest safe star lane. If there's no star lanes that are safe available or going back to systems that are either neutral you own or are with like friendly other empires, then that fleet will just get automatically routed. That means destroyed, which is bad. Fortunately, in this case, it's not the worst. It's going back this way, so we'll probably be fine. Right, so we were sending our fairing this way, our new fairing, and we're going to send it down this way to continue exploring because we need more systems. We need to find more systems. We need to expand. We're still kind of fighting over this this constellation here. If we can colonize 2 more systems, we'll own it, which would be fantastic. Still can't afford to pop this. Now that's fine. Now remember, even though, yeah, we'd really like to get systems as fast as we can because then we can start growing them faster. It's going to be great early, mid, and late game, right? Okay, it's unfortunate. We should really beat ourselves up about not being on top of our dust game as much as we could be and getting this right away, right? Not necessarily. Remember, we have this golden age duration that's going up every single turn. So it's kind of making up for the fact that we're not going to be getting that right away. It's not like a one-to-one, like you necessarily always want to wait on it, but it certainly mitigates the sort of the pain you feel from not being able to... Oh, right, we need to queue up another tech. The pain you might feel from not being able to, you know, be on top of that all the time. So, we're actually going to get some more science techs. Because remember, science feeds into science. Another thing to remember, though, is for every tech you have, the next tech is going to be more expensive. So you don't want to go down a quadrant you're not planning on really like playing to its full advantage. But we also have our main quest to complete, which requires, you know, science improvements. So we might as well go a little bit further down this tree and get some more science-y stuff. Now, remember when I said not to get overwhelmed by all the options? Don't get overwhelmed by them. Honestly, the suggested is always a good thing to look at. Like, this is actually a great suggestion. This is going to get us this, which is one of the most useful research improvements, like, early to mid-game that I can think of. It's research cities. This, if your empire is on average pretty happy, is going to be amazing. This is going to improve the amount of science a system is producing by, well, literally, if they're happy, by 35%. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. It's going to take 6 turns, which isn't too bad. And then we're going to go ahead and end our turn. Wonderful. Stuff is happening. They're aggressive towards us now. That is not good. Oh, this event ended. This kind of started a while back. And our hero is now level 4. What do we want? What do we want? Well, let's take a look at our system here. Nope, not our... hold on. Is that an enemy ship? It is. It's flying away. Okay. One fertile. We're going to go ahead and grab this. Optimal Operations Expert. It's just extra industry and food per pop. It's pretty weak, but, I mean, it adds up. So, that's going to be an extra 10 industry and 10 food at this point. So, not bad, not bad. Not horrible. That's fine. You can be over there. Either one of these is actually a pretty decent choice for different reasons. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and read the rest of what's going on here real quick. And then I think we're going to wrap up this episode for now. Oh, we can colonize now. Oh, you bet your bottom dollar we're gonna. We're going to colonize. Or titanium is always nice, but that's not great. We're going to colonize this huge ash planet. It's going to hurt us in terms of approval, though. Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let's pop it. You can always see your ship in the background, too, if you watch, like, your colony ship. There it is. I love that. I just realized, I hope my mouse is showing up on the capture. I'm sure it is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this all set up. We're going to get that queued up, because why not? But we're going to go get all this queued up and set up and everything wonderfully start. Oh, we just met the Mavros. They're a minor civilization. They're fun. Remember how I told you about the Sophons, that other empire? They're a sort of a branch off of them that are much angrier people. We'll go ahead and make contact and praise them just to start getting some relations going, but yeah, they're fun. Alright, so next video, we're going to continue trying to conquer the galaxy. We're catching up with everyone real fast. As a matter of fact, we're ahead of of 2 other empires now. Points-wise, again, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. But I suspect within the next 20 turns, we're probably going to be at war with the Hisho. I think things are going to go... They're going to turn sour here. So, especially since we're probably going to be taking this system, and there's going to be a lot of influential pressure right here at the corner here. So, look forward to that, because I sure am. So, anyway, thank you very much for watching. I've really been enjoying making this sort of tutorial-y endless space series. But I am starting to lose my voice a bit, so I'm going to take a little bit of a break. Probably do some more recording tomorrow or something. Start getting these videos published. Oh, listen to that music. Oh, the soundtrack in Endless Space is one of my favorite things. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I've really enjoyed making these videos so far, and I will catch you next time. See ya.